Everybody, with Jay Barker, I'm Mick Gillispie. It's time for Crimson Tide headlines here on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. I know you guys have been fired up and ready to see us again. He's a national championship quarterback, and I'm just a guy here along for the ride as we talk about Crimson Tide and Tennessee and their big matchup coming up Saturday at 2:30 Central Time. Hey, quick shout out to the guys at the next round. LT, Jim Dunaway, Ryan Brown for letting me sit in their studio today and do this show.
And the lights are on.
Hey, the lights are on. Everything's ready to go. We recorded our gambling show, which was brought to you by Pearl River Resort, called Players Club. And now we get to do this. And Jay, you and I have so much to talk about. But hey, before we do anything else, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, man. We appreciate you guys being here with us. We try to have fun on this show. Get in the comments section, duke it out over Alabama and Tennessee. We love that. Be respectful to each other, but have fun, man. That's what this is all about. Hit the bell so you know when we're live, and we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, Jay, let's get right to it. Rush Limbaugh used to talk about when you make a mistake, you got to come out early and admit we're not going to hide it in the back pages. I got to apologize. I fell hook, line, and sinker for that story about McCullough. And him, was he going to play, or is he going to sit out against UT Martin and play against Alabama? I fell for the clickbait, man.
Yeah, but again, Heupel came out today and said he's going to leave it up to the guys above him to make the decision on how they discipline McCullough. So we may be right in the long run.
We may be right
when it comes out.
Who knows, man?
We may be right. Yeah, but it's one of those things. We got it right before the show started. It kind of hit, and we just kind of talked about it, like just brought it up at that moment. But who cares? I mean, it's like those type of things go around, and that doesn't make a difference. There was nothing said negatively about anybody. We said, looking at it's one of those things where you have to look at it from a program standpoint as far as what you want to do and how the kind of message that you want to send. And there was more of a thinking through just how teams react to situations like that. But yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, the key this weekend is going to be with Tillman out, Cedric Tillman, looks like, according to all reports, the key players you see right there, Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, Byron Young, but he's supposed to be out of this game. So again, I think that's from official report, but if not, you guys will let us know a little bit later on today or tonight. Right. But understanding that. And then Bryce Young, is Bryce going to be back and ready to play? I mean, I really think that's still very, very questionable, whether or not he'll be out there on Saturday. And if not, how much did Jalen Milroe learn between last week and this week? And how much more did they kind of implement into the offense, things that he can do to be successful against Tennessee this weekend?
Yeah, right. I mean, you look at this matchup, it's the first time in a long, long time that both teams are good, that both teams are going to take advantage of the early season, come in ranked, Alabama third, and Tennessee sixth. I mean, Alabama's still number one in the coaches, but we're going with number 3 in the AP, right? Just because. I still love this matchup, though. I love the helmets. I love the jerseys. I just love everything about it, and it's exciting because – both teams are right now legit contenders, and there's just so many different things that could happen if Tennessee wins or if Alabama wins. And you got 2 premier quarterbacks. We're going to talk about those guys moving forward, but the winning streak for Alabama, it speaks for itself. 15 straight, and it's always been a streaky series. Don't get me wrong. It's always been a streaky series. You know that, Jay, but no one's ever dominated like this a decade and a half.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, really, to me, the last time this game was hyped the way it is now, and I don't know if it was even hyped then, was when Lane Kiffin came to Tuscaloosa and the blocked kick. And, this is a chance. I think Tennessee fans have been waiting on this for a decade or more, and probably a lot more than a decade, to get back to national prominence where Tennessee should be as far as a program with the resources they've got, the players they can recruit in. And Josh Heupel has them back at this level. So ticket prices are unbelievable just to get in the game. It's like $350. That is upper level end zone. The 50-yard line tickets are going for like $2,000 to $3,000 per ticket. So probably one of the most sought after tickets of all time. and Neyland Stadium history, and we'll see how it all plays out. But there should be a great crowd. I think there's going to be a lot of Alabama fans that will get some of those tickets off the market in the secondary markets that will be there. They want to be a part of this and hopefully see that streak continue, and they always travel well to Knoxville. But it could get ruckus. I mean, it really could. I mean, we've seen the throwing on the field, certain things over the years from Tennessee fans, and man, they're hungering for a huge win and to finally end the streak, but also where they're sitting right now at number 6. If they were to beat Alabama this weekend, you're looking at a team that moves in at least number 5, I think, but they might move into a top 4 position since they're the number 6 team, beating what some think is the number 1 and number 3 team in the country. So a lot at stake, not just for winning the game and in the streak, but a lot for the program, Mick, as far as what they're trying to build on right now and get Tennessee back to one of the prominent schools in the country in college football.
Yeah, look, if Tennessee wins this football game, all of a sudden the Mississippi schools are in position to play the Egg Bowl for a chance to go to the SEC championship game. I know, look, things have to go a certain direction, but you come back to Tuscaloosa, you got to play Mississippi State. If you don't win that football game, then all of a sudden, you know what, the Egg Bowl, it comes down to the Egg Bowl, right? Which is crazy to think about. And then in the East, it would be the Georgia-Tennessee game for Atlanta. And Tennessee hasn't been in that position in a while, right? I mean, they were there with Butch Jones, but then they couldn't get over the hump. This team's not going to lose to Vanderbilt. They're not going to lose to Kentucky. They're going to win those games. So this game against Alabama is an opportunity not only to end the streak, Jay, but also to put Tennessee on that elite level.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker has definitely been the guy that's done that. I mean, transferring in from Virginia Tech, North Carolina didn't even offer him a scholarship, which is crazy. He grew up right there in North Carolina and then ends up there, transfers over 2 years ago to Tennessee. And man, Heupel got a great one, a great leader, a guy that we talked about, the ABCs of Scripture, which is one of the books he's written, just really off the field, just a superhuman being. So I think, that's why Tennessee's performing so well. It's the coaching, but it's also the leadership of Hendon Hooker and what he's been able to create offensively in this up-tempo offense, spreading you out, really wanting to run the football first with a lot of RPOs, but really taking advantage of that spacing. So it's going to be a real challenge for Alabama's defense. And again, we talked about the cheetah package, how big that's going to be this weekend, something they've really worked on throughout the summer in order to be able to play spread teams like this. But let me tell you this, Alabama really respects Tennessee on both sides of football, all 3 phases of the game. And you just look at their points per game right now, pretty amazing. They're second, 46.83, 22nd when it comes to the touchdowns, 30, which is the 11th. Alabama's got 32 there as well. So if Bryce is playing, this could be, and again, playing at a level he needs to play at to beat the Tennessee team, it should be a really great game. It could be a shootout. If Jalen is the guy that goes, I think you're going to see a more conservative approach from Alabama, trying to really run the football, allow him to run it, do things that he's really good at, and try to keep that Tennessee offense off the field as much as possible.
He's Jay Barker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Crimson Tide Headlines. Do it live on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up as you hang out and talk Alabama football with us each and every Tuesday and Thursday. And don't forget, right now, you get BamaInsider.com. Now that we're part of On3, $10 gets you an entire year. $1 gets you 4 months. So try it out. If you like it, stay. And if you don't, you always have the option of unsubscribing. But I think you really like it with all the recruiting, Andrew Bone, Joseph Hastings, the team stuff with Clint Lamb and Jimmy Stein. And then it's going to keep on getting better and better, guys. All right. Chris has a picture of, this is our producer, Chris. He's going to show us a picture, Jay, of what he looked like back in 2007 when the streak started. That was when Alabama surprised Philip Fulmer and Tennessee. The book scandal had just happened. It was an onside kick to start the game. I sat on like the 50-yard line for it because Bama fans thought they were going to lose. And Nick Saban and then the boys rolled, and it's been rolling ever since. All right, Chris, throw it up there if you want. Let's take a look at you now and then. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
Look at that picture. Looks like he had a little son in that picture and a big bass too.
Yeah, no doubt. What's the 63 for?
Is
that a team?
Oh, yeah, who knows? It was just a style. That was just the style that he used to rock back then. Look, and there he is, graduated. So he's just a little kid there with the Bass picture, and now he's a college graduate of Alabama.
That's a big Bass.
That gives you a perspective. I know. But part of that is that he's little.
Yeah. Is that Smokey next to him?
Illusion. Yeah. He
kind of looks like
Smokey for the picture. Yeah. Oh my goodness. 15 years, man. I was at the game that Alabama lost. Typical Shula coached game. Alabama had the lead in the third quarter, going into the fourth, had the lead in the fourth quarter, fell behind and couldn't get off the mat, And then when Nick Saban took over the next year, they started the fourth quarter program. And it was games like that was the motivation behind the fourth quarter program. We've always done this, 4 fingers up in the fourth quarter because, you win and lose games. In baseball, I call the 8th and 9th innings the business end. Well, in football, it's the fourth quarter. That's when you're going to win and lose a lot of ball games. And Alabama had to figure out how to do that. And when Nick Saban brought that fourth quarter program over, it changed everything.
It did. And I tell you, the guys are as in good a shape as they're going to be in. And going through that fourth quarter program really gets them not only physically, but mentally focused in of knowing how to dig deep. I mean, that's the whole point of that, is to push you to such a level to where in the fourth quarter, that you can get the job done. And it's really about, making sure that you're not losing concentration on the schemes, the plays that you're running, and that your assignments and stuff like that. And they really push them in that. And a lot of coaches have taken on the fourth quarter program to their programs all across the country in order to get their guys ready. I still believe the third quarter, though, the first 5 minutes sets the tone. When you come out of halftime, the adjustments you've made and how you're going to play, it's the first 5 minutes that really sets the tone of the third quarter. And it's really 4 or 5 plays in a game that really determines the game, whether it be turnovers, certain penalties and key spots, a pickoff that could have been made that didn't get made, or a pickoff that happens against you when you're on offense. So there's a lot that goes into it. But, yeah, the fourth quarter definitely has been a huge deal for Coach Saban. And, again, it's about teaching that mental toughness.
All right, let's move on here. Let's talk about home and home series coming up. And that's because this week it was announced that Alabama and Minnesota would play a home and home series. Jay, I couldn't help it. I said that it would probably be a better home and home if Alabama played the Vikings instead of the Gophers. But, I'm not anticipating PJ Fleck being the coach at Minnesota by the time Alabama gets there. Some of these are sexy matchups. I wasn't a big fan of the Minnesota matchup. That to me just seems like, another Mississippi State game or something like that, But here's the entire list, and there's some really good matchups in here, games that I'm excited about. Texas coming to Tuscaloosa, which they'll be part of the conference, right? Wisconsin, which I love that matchup, right? 2 conflicting styles. They love their football at Camp Randall. West Virginia, a team that I think belongs in the SEC. That's 26 and 27. How about Ohio State in 27 and 28? That's a big-time matchup. Oklahoma State. You know what? I saw them play in Shreveport. Notre Dame's always big when Alabama and Notre Dame play. Georgia, that kind of old SEC partner now with the ACC, but I like that a lot. Boston College, same as Minnesota. Arizona intrigues me, even though they're not really known for football. Just kind of cool seeing Alabama play against the Pac-12. And then, we're all going to be excited about Alabama and Virginia Tech in 30-34.
Unbelievable. I mean, and look, if you're a coach at Alabama, or if you're Nick Saban or whoever may go after him, that in 2027 it starts out with Ohio State. Now, right? I'm looking at I can't see the whole screen there, but 2028 Ohio State, Oklahoma. Yeah, there's West Virginia at Ohio State. Man, 28 Ohio State and then at Oklahoma State. That's going to be big time schedule for 2028. And considering now you got Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC, and then all the other Western Division type matchups you got, and then Tennessee as well. But I love it. The one that surprised me, University of South Florida. We got the home and home with them. I was like, why are we doing a home and home with South Florida? But it must have just been the only thing that could have gotten worked out scheduling wise with a bunch of the teams. Yeah, they got them 3 times actually. That's September 16th of 2023, 24 on September 7th, and then September 12th on 2026. So that one kind of surprised me that they'd give them that home at home. But I guess we're getting 2 homes to their 1 home based on the future scope. Yeah.
But to me, that's even more interesting than Minnesota. I mean, at least if you go play UCF, you play in Tampa. That's a place that, sometimes hosts big bowl games. And You go recruiting down there. You're not recruiting Minnesota. Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know it's way down the road, but they put that release out, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, is this even a release? Is this release worthy, Jay? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just a curmudgeon,
The Minnesota fans probably are loving it, most definitely, that they get the chance to travel to Tuscaloosa from Minnesota. But I bet Alabama will have a pretty good crowd that may go up there. We'll see. It's a long way to go, man, for a football game. But we'll see how it all kind of plays. By then, who knows? Minnesota may be a top 4 contender by that time. I doubt it, but we'll see.
They'll probably be back to their 4 to 6 win teams. PJ Fleck will be like at Ohio State or something, and it'll be. But I saw Alabama and Minnesota once in the Music City Bowl. They had 2 NFL running backs, and Alabama still almost beat them. So, and it wasn't a very good Alabama team. An Alabama team that did some things well, but they had some injury issues, and obviously they ended up there. But anyway, there's a look at your future schedule, and you can tell as the years go on, the schedule gets tougher, and I'm sure that's because they're anticipating the college football playoff, so you can afford to play some of those games. But you're right, that 2028 season with Ohio State and at Oklahoma State, that's a lot of fun. That'll be some big time football there, and just for the people that spend all the money for the home tickets. I mean, great to have that legitimate home schedule, unlike this year, where you're like, man, I'm paying all this money. I got to pay the tax on top of this and that. And then, I'm watching like Utah State and Austin P and, come on.
Yeah. I've got 12 tickets, season tickets. Everybody thinks I get them free. I pay everything that you pay. And it is expensive. Then you get those particular games. You're like, okay, who can I find to buy these tickets this year? So, but yeah, I mean, look, this is the price of a ticket. It's where college football is now. The facilities they're building. Now, I will say this: they've done a terrific job of the experience for the fans as far as what they've done to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and that comes along with ticket sales. Comes along with fans being in the stands. And I promise you this, there is a waiting list of people looking to get in those seats if you ever give them up. So you got to hold on to them and the family as long as you can. But yeah, they're expensive, but you'll get better matchups as it goes along. Look at that, 26 at West Virginia, then South Florida again, and then Florida. So I'm looking forward to at Florida State for Alabama.
Yeah, me too. I like that matchup a lot. I mean, going back to when Bobby Bowden was there, we never could get over the Bobby Bowden hump, right? But Alabama.
We almost had him at Alabama.
I know. That's another.
He was coming.
Whole another story.
Yeah, he was there. He was ready to sign the papers, and he walked out there and said, "Look, if I walk out of here, I'm done. I can't. You either offer it to me now, take it, or I got to go back to my fans, back to Florida State." He went back to Florida State, but that was his dream job. That's where he started, was Alabama as a player, and then transferred to Howard, which is now Sanford, and that's why he has such a great connection. Had his house there in Roebuck. Center Point area for years, and played Roebuck golf course, and what an awesome man he was. And I had a chance to be around that family a ton growing up because my mom was Terry Bowden's secretary at Sanford at the time. So I'd go to the Bowden Academies. We'd go to the beach with them every summer. She had to be the secretary for everybody. So we'd head down and stay on the beach. They have a big tent set up with their family's huge, as you know. So a lot of fun. So I look forward to that. There's a lot of history behind those two teams.
Yeah, same here. Guys, like and subscribe as you hang out with us here on the thumbs up as we get you ready for Tennessee 30 Central Time. Number 3 against number 6 at Neyland Stadium. He's Jay Barker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Hit the bell so you know every time live. And thank you for hanging out with us again. We appreciate it. All right, Jay, let's get back into this Alabama and Tennessee game. And you as a former quarterback and one of the best, you have to look at Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker and appreciate what these two guys do out on the field. Let's start with the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, knowing that he's got an AC sprain he's working through. What do you expect to see from him coming Saturday?
Honestly, don't know. Be honest. I think he's still questionable whether or not he'll be out there Saturday or not. I know that they're talking about putting him on a pitch count and other things, but he just hasn't, gotten the reps that he normally gets in practice throughout the week. And Coach Saban is so big on that, making sure guys are prepared mentally, physically, that they're getting the chemistry and understanding and getting a look at all the different defensive plays. The hard part is, even if he's at 80 or 90%, even if he's at 75%, can he still play at a level that allows you to beat Tennessee better than you're going to get with anybody else in that position? So I think that's just decisions they got to make. It's probably going to be a Friday or game time decision before they make it. I think they're going to let him go through warm up, see how it feels, but we'll see. I mean, I think they're trying their best to get Jalen as prepared as possible, have some packages available for him. But it's going to be, if he's able to get back out there, and I hope he can. But he's looking ahead to his future in the NFL. He's also looking ahead to other games that are coming up. And if let's just say that they didn't play Bryce and they got beat by the number 6 team in the country, Alabama, as long as the game is pretty close and it's not just an absolute blowout, I think they would stay pretty tight to the top 4. And then they would have a chance as Bryce got back. And I think the voters would give them a little bit of grace of him being out as well. So I don't want that to be the case. I'm just saying as fans, I think you have to look at some of the expectations or some of the things that might happen coming into this game. But if that is the case and he's able to play, just play like he plays, extend plays, play smart in the pocket, do the things that he's got to do that in order to be accurate throwing the football. And again, that's where you worry about. It's just the amount of practice he's lost, not just this week, but last week, and not staying in rhythm as far as game week preparations.
All right, well, let's talk Hendon Hooker now. I think he's right there at the top. Look, he's one of the odds-on favorites for the Heisman. C.J. Stroud, the guy right now that I'm guessing is number 1. But I'll tell you what, you take him out of this Tennessee offense, and they're just a regular team. And that, to me, tells you that he's the MVP of college football. The fact that they're in this position right now, I feel like has a lot to do with Hendon Hooker.
There's no doubt about it. And as I said earlier, he's not only a great player on the field, Mick, he's also a great person off the field. And I think that's what this team has really bought into what he does and the things the way that he practices, the way that he prepares for games, and really see him as that leader. Josh Heupel got really lucky getting him in the transfer portal, and he's played at such a high level. I mean, you look at his touchdowns, you look at his interception ratio, you look at the way that he leads the team, that fast-paced type of offense that Josh Heupel wants to run, and then he's got playmakers around him. Now, again, if Tillman is out, is what we're hearing reportedly, the wide receiver, that's a big damper for him. That's a huge, probably mentally, psychologically, knowing that he has that playmaker that's their best receiver, one of the best in the country, that's not going to be playing in this game. So we'll see how they kind of react to that. But he seems to be steady. He seems to be a great leader. He can make all the throws, and also an excellent runner, a guy that can make plays with his feet. So this is going to be a great challenge. I don't think he's seen a defense quite like Alabama's. You certainly haven't seen a cheetah package with the 3 linebackers in there like you're going to see with Braswell, Dallas Turner, and Will Anderson Jr. So I think that's something Alabama has going for them, something a little bit different look that he hasn't seen this year on any defense he's played against. So that's going to be a great challenge for Alabama. I think the biggest thing for them is they got to be able to stop the run, get them in a long second and down, long third and down, kind of behind the chains or off schedule as we talk about. And if they can do that, I think they're going to have a lot better chance beating this Tennessee team because, look, they put the numbers up. They score the points. How much can Alabama hold them as far as in scoring? More importantly, again, to get them behind the chains, get them in long down and distance, be able to blitz, maybe create turnovers, and get those things that really flips the field for them on that offensive side of the football.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be interesting to see Alabama's defense against Tennessee's offense, right? 2 of the best in the country. But I think the difference in this ballgame is going to be Alabama's offense against Tennessee's defense, which has not been too good. They're one of the worst in the country as far as rankings go, 87th. So we'll see, is Alabama going to be in a game where they can take advantage of that? Or is it going to be a situation like Florida in where Alabama's constantly just trying to catch up and has a difficult time doing so because Tennessee just keeps on outrunning them? That's going to be, to me, the story of this football game.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure, as a coach, sometimes you wonder if a team is explosive on offense, is they already let them have the ball first, or do you want to get the ball first and try to keep it out of their hands, keep them on the sideline, get a little bit cold as they start the game, and try to go down and score first and get the first points, kind of put them in a different position. They're normally a team, Alabama is, that does defer and wants to have the ball coming out the second half and hopefully having it ending the first half. Where you get back-to-back possessions, but maybe a little bit different approach with a guy like Hendon and in this offense. I tell you, Josh Heupel, Tennessee fans got to be ecstatic about the job that he's done so far and just the level of play that they've had on that offense side of the ball. They were kind of stuck like Alabama was kind of back in the day. And not to say, a lot of what they're doing is what they did back in 2010, a lot in the Big 12. He's kind of taken that same philosophy, now brought it into the SEC. And I like the fact that these offenses are scoring so many points now, but I want to see great defensive play this weekend. And I really think the defense is up for the challenge. I think our defensive backs are going to play well. I think we're going to see a big time rush up front. I mean, this should be the most hyped this team has been all year. That is Alabama. Both teams will be. And here's the thing: Alabama's been in big games like this. They played in national title games. They've been around the media attention. They've been around all the hype from the fans. Tennessee's not been. This is their time to first kind of experience this. So to me, how does the players react to this? How do they deal with the week? How do they deal with all the attention that they're getting as a number 6 team and having a chance to maybe knock off Alabama? How do they deal with that pressure? Alabama, the players have been there before. They understand what that's like. So I give it to them as far as being able to handle it and keeping their composure, and hopefully a lot better than they did against Texas.
Yep. I couldn't say it better myself. All right, guys, before we go to our final segment, that's where we have a little fun with Prize Picks and the Prize Picks app. Let me remind you that you're hanging out with us here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. So give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Be part of what we're doing. You guys are the best audience in college sports. This channel is the best in college sports. There's more of you guys than any other channel out there. So let's continue to do that as we try to march towards having over 100,000 subscribers. That's more or as many as there are seats and fans at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it, hit the thumbs up. That's a way to know when we go live. And don't forget to, now that we're part of On 3, got the hat on just to prove it, we want you to join us, Bama Insider, On 3. For $1, you get 4 months. That's if you just want to kind of get, you want to feel it around a little bit. But if you're sure you want to know everything about recruiting from Andrew Bone and Joseph Hastings, you want to be that guy that knows first. You want to be part of the team center with guys like Clint Lamb and Jimmy Stein, then you're going to want to pay $10 for an entire year. And I promise you, you're going to enjoy it. It's excellent. You got some of the best coverage in the country, and you get it at BamaInsider.com. All right, Jay, it's time for Prize Pick. We love doing this. And for those of you that are out there, it's really easy. It's an app that you download on your phone. It's the Prize Pick app. And what's cool about it is you use the code Roll Tide, and up to $100, they'll match whatever you put in, right? So if you sign up and you deposit $100, you'll have $200 to play Prize Picks with, and you have an opportunity to 10 times your money on any entry, which is a really fun thing. And then the other part of it is that it gives you kind of, when you're watching football, a lot more to think about. Like it's like you got the game going on, you got that, and hey, maybe you got the kicker. And that's what we're going to start with right here. And it's like, what's this guy going to do? Is it going to cash in for me? All right, Jay, let's pop it up there, and let's start our first Prize Pick. And that's actually, we're going to go to the Michigan Penn State game first. That's 5 versus 10, right? J.J. McCarthy, that excellent quarterback of Michigan, and he is projected to throw for 220 plus yards, right? So the way that you play is that you got to decide whether he's going to go over the number or he's going to be under the number. Jay?
I'm looking at it. That's his last few games, right? Right there, what he's averaging.
Yeah.
20. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to say under on this one. I think Jim Harbaugh is one of those guys that's very conservative in games like this.
Yep. Penn State's defense travels. We saw what they did to Auburn, and if Michigan falls behind, maybe they try to run the ball, but they're going to be at home. Probably like a really tight defensive battle, something like 2017. That's normally like a very good day in the Big Ten. So I could see that. All right, let's throw the second one up there. Oh, Sean Clifford. This is my guy. I like Penn State's quarterback, Sean Clifford, right?
Me too, yeah.
He's been in college for like 15 years, and he just continues to roll, right? He dismantled Auburn twice in his career, including this season. Last time, though, don't be fooled by last game, though. They had a week off. October 1st was a very rainy, bad weather game against Northwestern. Penn State won the game. He only had 140 yards. 200 yards, Jay, what do you think?
178 against Auburn, 282 against Purdue that first weekend. I'm kind of going between those two numbers. I'm going to say he's going to go over 200 yards. I think they're going to need him to be over 200 yards to win the game.
Yeah, right. I agree with you. I mean, look, he's going to have to do that, right? On the road against Michigan, hit some deep passes. Now, the reason why the number's low is because Penn State has such a great running attack. They have 3 running backs that are really tough. And so that's definitely why. But I'm with you. I think if they win the game, and I do have Penn State in this game, he's going to throw for over 200 yards. So 200.5 would be the winner. And again, all you got to do to play is just download the Prize Pick app through the App Store, and you can do all of this yourself. All right, let's do 2 more. Throw it up there. Who's next? Oh, Blake Corum. Running back, Michigan Wolverines, 104.5. Man, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm taking the under here.
Yeah, I'm taking under as well. Penn State's defense, I think, will hold him to under 100 yards. But we'll see. He's had some big games, though, man. Look at those numbers over there. Except for the first 2, and then 243, 133, 124. I'm still going to go under on this one. All
right, one more. Let's do one more. And you guys, again, Prize Pick, you can get that app right off the App Store. You can be doing this. And they have everything. It's not just college football. They have the NFL, MLB with the playoffs going on, soccer. Just check it out for yourself. It's really cool. And use the code Roll Tide, and they'll match up to 100% of your deposit up to $100. All right, one more. Nicholas Singleton. This is one of the stable of running backs that Penn State has. This is a freshman. This guy has wheels. Only 87 yards last game against Northwestern. And Prize Picks doesn't think he's going to have a very big game. 64.5 against Michigan on the road. What do you think?
I think he's going to get over that.
Me too.
He's a good back, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, and this is one of the games I'm really excited about watching on Saturday. Are there any games besides Alabama and Tennessee, Michigan, and Penn State that you're looking forward to on Saturday?
Probably. You look at all the different matchups. Probably the Auburn Ole Miss game, just because of Harsin, watching kind of seeing how they handle that situation and what Lane Kiffin has to kind of offer to them. But really, those 2 are kind of my attention. The other one I'm watching is out of the SEC is UAB and Charlotte 49ers. And the reason, because my son's a quarterback at UAB, so I'll be paying close attention to that game during the Tennessee game and seeing how they're doing and watching the UAB Blazers. Coach Bryant Vince has done a terrific job there so far as the interim head coach.
All right. Well, look, I can't wait to hang out with you guys again tomorrow night. We're going to do the Bama Insider Tailgate Show from a place called Trotter's Whole Hog in Sevierville, downtown Sevierville, Tennessee. It's a brand new place, and it is, I don't know, like I could probably, Jake, you could probably throw a football and hit the Dolly Parton statue from Trotters if you could get it over top of a building. But we're right down there by the Dolly Parton statue. It's going to be a lot of fun in downtown. If you guys are in the area, if you're going to the game and you want to come hang out, Trotter's Whole Hog, it's a barbecue place in Sevierville. We're going to do it from 6 to 8 Eastern time, and it'd be a lot of fun. Clint Lamb's going to be there, and you can watch it right here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And then after the game, Jay, you and I back together. We're going to get back together again to talk about Alabama and Tennessee Saturday.
Yeah, a little bit earlier time than it was last week. We were on at 11:30 to about 12:45. No, actually about 11 about 12:45. So it was
almost
a good
2
one.
Hours.
Yeah,
we almost did like 2 hours. It went by fast.
A lot of fun.
It was a call, man. So many people with great calls talking about the game and breaking it down, and so many smart people that really understand football that are part of our audience. All right, guys, one more time, thank you for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up as you kick it here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. Hit the bell so you know that our show's live, and we want you to be a part of that as well. And don't forget, you can get BamaInsider.com. Now that we're part of On3, you can get it. We want you to be part of the On3 Nation. You can get it. $10 gets you an entire year. That's 10, right? If you just want to dip your toe in the water, we got that for you as well. $1 gets you 4 months. BamaInsider.com On3. And I promise you, this thing's only going to get better and better and better. The talent, and they keep getting better. On3 is it's the big things here. You said the next big thing. This is the big thing. It's here, and you guys are part of it. So take advantage of that. Special thanks to Chris Daughtry and Kyle Henderson for all their help putting our show together. Jay, anything else before we bid everyone farewell?
Just can't believe how young Chris was the last time Alabama lost, or I guess when they first won the streak. Yeah, So amazing.
Yeah, and I wonder how old that fish is now.
Right here now, somebody's tummy.
Somebody ate. You think somebody ate that fish? Pop it
Chris,
back up
maybe.
one more time, Chris. Yeah, where is that little guy?
There it
you
is.
think he's still swimming in there? Or did you? Was he a keeper, Chris? He was a keeper. Yeah, he was a keeper. Okay. Yeah, the fish didn't make it to 2008.
Chris's tummy at that time, and there's old Smokey again.
Yeah, there's old Smokey. Look, to that fish, the streak never happened.
Exactly.
Think about that, Jay. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Never saw it.
He never saw it. All right, for Jay Barker, I'm Mick Gillispie again. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday. Crimson Tide headlines right here on the BamaInsider YouTube channel. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.